Hello, everyone. This is the Onsen Show with Carl and Scary the Cat Guide. I'm just here as a mini guest, 5 minutes, because we want to tell you a little bit about the DHF proposal, the LeoFinance DHF proposal. Um,
Eric, there's nothing
all of
mini about your presence, baby. There's nothing mini about your presence.
Are you calling me fat?
No, I'm calling you a big baller.
Yeah, so basically, like just for the community that is listening right now, the DHF proposal, which asks for roughly $15,000 per month to onboard the masses to Hive using the Leo Infra technology, was a success in September. We actually had 600 people who signed up and were active during September. We actually onboarded 1,900 people with LeoFinance, and Hive in general onboarded 3,400 people. That is huge compared to the previous months. Of course, out of those 3,400, only around a little bit more than half were active. But out of those numbers, LeoFinance onboarded more than half. I think it was like 60%, right, Kyle?
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So
maybe 40%. It was like right around
40%.
half though.
Yeah, okay. So 40%. So the takeaway here is that this is working, because actually out of the 15,000 total monthly fund, we actually just used 11%. So that means that we onboarded more than the goal, which was 450 people. We onboarded them with 11% of the funds. Imagine what we can achieve with the full funds. So that's what we are planning to do next week, but more about that from Carl in a few minutes. But the point is, we need your support, because yesterday there were a few changes in the proxy voting on the DHF, which meant that LeoFinance went from being approved with 26 million votes, it went to being unapproved with under 1,900,000 high power. We already got 900,000 more supporting the DHF proposal. We are around 900,000 under the return proposal, but that means that we need your help. We need you to, as a community, help us get more votes. We are currently reaching out to some people that might or might not have seen the proposal, or that didn't see the results this first month brought. We believe they are very positive. We believe we are on the right track. So if you can help us spread the word, get your friends, doesn't matter if they have 1,000 HP or 10,000 or 100,000, every single HP works and helps towards the achievement of being above the return proposal. So do your work, do your part, like the GIF says. Just get on your Leo helmet and do your part.
So, Eric, just to be clear, did we lose high voting power, or did the bar go up again?
Oh, the bar went up again.
Interesting.
Because, yeah, but it wasn't anything, how can we say it? It wasn't anything personal against Leo or the proposal.
Oh, no, I know.
It was just that a whale decided, oh, I'm going to put my 2 million HP as proxy to someone else who was voting the proposal, the return proposal. So the return proposal, like out of the blue, just grew 2 million more.
Got you. So for the people that don't know, how exactly does I'm just going to call it the bar. How does that bar get set? Is this the average of basically votes amongst DHF proposals, or how is that threshold determined? Do we know that in terms of, because obviously it's a moving target, but I don't know that everyone understands how that moving target works in terms of how that number is derived. Do we know how that's derived?
Yes, and this is actually pretty educational. So the DHF works in the sense of you have a proposal, you put it out, and then the community gets to decide how much high power they allocate to that proposal to being approved. And the bar is set by the community voting on another proposal, which is called the return proposal. This return proposal establishes who gets funding and who doesn't. Anyone with less high power supporting their proposal will not get funded, and any proposal with more high power supporting it, more than the return proposal, will get the funds. So basically right now there are like 30 proposals and around 15 are being funded and the other half is not being funded. This means that the ones that are on top of the return proposal, they get the money, and those who are below, they don't. So the way that you can make, like the community members can make their voice heard, is by voting on the proposals that they want to be funded.
Cool. I think it's always good to just understand how the mechanics work. So, and at the end of the day, you know, you guys are in it, so it seems like common knowledge to you, but I think most people don't actually know. So appreciate the explanation, sir.
Anytime. And for those who don't know, yesterday we had a town hall, a community town hall. So if you want to check it out, it's on Spaces. It's under the, I think it's under, yes, it's under my account. So we talk governance and we talk DHF and we talk how the community can get involved. Of course, Cal will attack that topic today as well a little bit. But if you want a more in-depth analysis or opinions from community members, you can just check it out.
Sweet. Yeah. Thanks, Eric. I was looking at the DHF stuff and we did climb like another almost million in votes. So I don't think it'll be long for us to get back over the funding line. But it just goes to show you like how, and this is what a lot of what the space that you did yesterday talked about, which is, getting more hivers involved in governance and showing people how it works, showing people why it's important. So, whether or not Leo gets funded is less important to us than, getting more people involved and just proving that the Hive governance system really works. We got the ultimate stress test. I don't think anyone can deny that it works when we forked from Steam. That was like the ultimate stress test of the governance system that I think we could have asked for, which is to say, like, in a nuclear scenario, which is what we were in, can the governance survive and can we fork and continue to be decentralized even in the face of, and back then, not having the central company previously known as Steemit, and then, not having, kind of like that key leader, and then also having, a kind of malicious billionaire with seemingly unlimited funds and reach, who was able to actually go out to exchanges and get them involved. So I think that was kind of like the ultimate proof point for Hive governance. And now I think, back then we got a lot of people involved in governance. It was like, I forget how much, power was actually, basically like woken up from the community back then, but it was a lot. Like there was, the level of governance engagement was at an all-time high back then. And I think, with the town halls that you're doing every month and other things that we can do to kind of promote governance, we can get, a lot more engagement back into the system, which I think is really healthy. Both on the DHF side and on the witness side, I think both are lacking a little bit of engagement lately because, obviously if there's no looming threat, which I don't think, people don't see a looming threat, then, there's not as much of a reason to get involved. But I do think there's kind of like a longer term, not necessarily threat, but a longer term, existence question, which is, the governance exists for a reason. Being able to vote for proposals and choose what gets funded exists for a reason. And we got to get that out of the hands of, just a few stakeholders and allow, the entirety of Hive to have a voice. And if you think that, 5,000-10,000 Hive power is not, worthwhile enough for you to worry about governance, I think you should reevaluate that because, you know, you get 1,000 people with 10,000 hive power, and you can start to battle against those whales. So it's really important to get involved in governance, and I think that was kind of like the gist of your space yesterday. And then obviously we're talking about the Leo DHF stuff. So I saw a couple comments, and we onboarded like 650 new Hive users, like active Hive users. So we onboarded them, and now they're active. And I think we signed up like 1,300 or something. So we've been making really good progress. And like you said, we used 11% of the budget. So it ended up being like $1,500 or something, $1,600 that we used. So I think, you know, kind of extrapolating that and imagining what we can do when we start to actually ramp up this marketing and put some more weight behind it is really interesting. And like we said in the post that dropped yesterday on @LeoFinance, you know, a reason why we didn't spend as much in the first one is because a lot of this marketing stuff takes time. It doesn't just, you know, boom, happen instantly and you got to pay for everything. You know, the payments and the process and signing up for things and onboarding influencers, that stuff all takes time. So as it kind of starts to scale in, I think we're going to see some interesting effects. So, you know, 650 people from the first month, and I think we can shoot for 1,000 the second month. But obviously, we have our targets for the quarters. But we'll just keep chasing after bigger and bigger goals. I think you're muted, Derek.
Yes, and I think now it's about unmuting on two places at the same time.
Right.
But yes, I do think that people are going to be very pleased with what we have in store for October. It's going to be a bang. It's going to be a lot of noise and a lot of like, but good noise, not just noise. But yes, let's shoot for 1,000 users.
Yep. Do it. Let's do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Well,
do it now.
Speaking of putting in numbers, I mean, we're already at like 300 on the Threadcast. So, and we just got on like 15 minutes ago. So that is rocking and rolling. And obviously you got people in spaces commenting away as well. So between the two, it's just popping.
Love to see
Yes.
it. Love to see it. A lot to manage.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Definitely juggling.
I will take my leave so you can go so you can get the Winsome show rolling.
Sounds good. Thanks, Eric.
Yes, I will stay as a speaker on X because you know the algorithm.
Yeah, and if you know, that's a good point.
They
So
push it to other people.
If anyone wants to ask, because we got the Threadcast, so you guys can type your questions. But if anyone wants to jump in and be a speaker and ask a question, you can just raise your hand on the X space, and then I'll bring you in as a speaker. And obviously, like Eric said, it's good for the algorithm, but also it'd be fun to take a couple questions live. So feel free to raise your hand at any point and jump in the X space and ask something.
Yes. So good luck.
Thanks, Eric.
Well,
See you guys.
See ya.
later, Eric. I just quote unquote raised my hand because I pressed the wrong button and exited out. So
Uh-oh.
I'm back.
Now you're muted on
Now I'm not
Spaces. But
muted.
yeah,
I don't even
there you
know,
go.
like,
There you go.
I'm surprised that doesn't create a loop because it's like your phone is producing sound and obviously your phone
Right.
speaker is right next to your mic speaker. And it's like you can't mute the sound that I know of. You can turn your sound down all the way, but it's producing sound.
Yeah. I there is a solution for this that I don't have. I don't have any more plug-in. All my headphones it's a first world problem, but all my headphones are wireless. So the solution is to have a set of wired headphones that you plug into your phone separate.
I mean, I could do
That's what
that.
Eric does.
I have the little converter thing because I have a pair of wireless that obviously are paired to my phone, but they're not paired to my laptop. So they would pick up the Spaces piece, but they wouldn't pick up the Zoom, which would be a little weird because there is a small delay. So that would definitely be a little discombobulating between visual
hopefully
and audio.
hopefully the Zoom isn't picking up too much echo from the space. I think we should be all right. But
I don't.
I'll try
Yeah, I
to
mean,
shield it a little bit.
I got my volume down all the way, and I actually put a piece of tape over my speaker to lower the volume even more.
That's smart.
Muffle it a little more.
That's
So
very smart.
But anyway, I'm gonna jump into the Threadcast. What do we got? We got Taskmaster shilling his show. Tonight is Cryptomaniacs. Be sure to tune in 8 p.m. Eastern, and there will be a Threadcast. So we here at the When Soon Show approve and enjoy the Cryptomaniac show. So if you're bored tonight, people, or in the wee hours, if you're further in the future than Eastern time. I like Nifty Phil. He said they hate us because they ain't us.
Very true. Very true.
Task is asking, why are people commenting on spaces? They should be on the Threadcast. You know what, sir? You are not wrong. You are not wrong.
Can anyone say in the Threadcast how the audio sounds, both on Spaces and on YouTube? I'm just kind of curious because YouTube is the recording that we use, and then Spaces is obviously the live on Spaces. But
man, I'm
just curious because it's two different audio inputs, and it's kind of crazy to manage.
The YouTube, I forgot about the YouTube. I haven't even popped onto that one. I'm just trying to keep up with Spaces and the Threadcast. So what do we got? I
see two questions from Road Stories and Beauty197 that are kind of related. So if you onboard someone through Leo Infra, they are creating what we call a Hive Lite account. And what essentially that means is a Hive Lite account gives you all the features that a normal Hiver has. You can, log in to Leo, you can make threads, you can make comments, you can make posts, you can upvote, you can stake in your wallet. You can do all the things that a normal Hiver can do on the Leo UI. Until that Leo Infra protocol gets integrated on other UIs, which I am talking to a few, and I hope we can get that out there soon, where they can, integrate our API. And then if you have a Lite account, you can just log into any Hive UI. Until that happens, you can you can basically log into Leo and do everything you need to do. But what the intention is that it's a Lite account, and we want you to take full control and full custody of that account as soon as possible. So our UI, once you hit about $5 to $10 in your wallet, our UI will start to prompt you and kind of bug you to download the keys. We are working on that key download protocol because there were a couple issues with it. So I'm hoping to have it live sometime throughout October. Definitely, I would say probably the first half of October, but definitely before the end of the month. And the goal with that is that when the UI starts to prompt you to download your keys, you go to the wallet page, and it's very step-by-step the way we've designed it. So it prompts you to actually change the keys and then download the new set of keys. And the reason why is because currently when you're in Leo Infra holds a copy of those keys. It's encrypted, but it still is a potential security risk. So, we're not hiding that risk at all. But the goal is, get people in and get them into a Lite account. That's the hardest hurdle to get over when you're trying to onboard and sign new people up. The hardest part is just, hey, get a Hive account and start interacting, because the first thing you do if you're not going through the Lite account protocol, the first thing you do is you create a Hive account, and then now you've got to download 5 different blockchain keys, and then you got to figure out which one to log in with. You got to download Hive keychain or find some other login method that works. And it just makes the process way too hard just to get started. So the goal of Leo Infra is not a long-term solution for people to log in. It's a short-term solution to get people signed up. And then over the long term, as they get more educated about Hive and as they learn about the different keys, and our onboarding protocol actually teaches them about the keys. So throughout the process of, once they click claim wallet, it'll actually explain to them what each key is for. It'll also have a link to download Hive keychain so that they can basically just, we're just trying to get people in. That's easy. That's the hard part that we're trying to make easy. And then from there, teach them about the keys, and then also give them the tools like Hive keychain to log into any Hive app. So create a Hive Lite account and then turn them into a full Hiver later on. That's kind of the important part for us. So I saw What was the question? The first question was, can they use other UIs than Leo if they sign up with a Lite account? And the answer right now is no, but hopefully other UIs start to integrate the Leo Infra API, and then they can start using other stuff. But and then the second question was, some hivers saw the use of Google as an option to create accounts, but then they asked, how do you get the keys? So that is where the wallet claim comes in, and then we want you to actually claim the wallet and get off. But actually, it's like we want you to get on the Lite account protocol, and then as soon as you're on it, our goal is to get you off of it as soon as possible. And the reason why is because you're not taking self-custody. It's like the difference between having, an Ethereum wallet in MetaMask where you control the keys versus a Coinbase account where you are just trading in and out of Coinbase and you're not actually holding custody of anything in there. So the goal is get people in very easily through the Lite account and then get them offboarded into a full Hive account afterwards. But the whole back end of how that works is very interesting because you have the entire time you have a full Hive account on the back end, but then you don't hold the keys until you're ready. That's kind of the tagline for us.
So speaking of onboarding, I saw Anderson Ho asked, is there any big personality we have onboarded that might have a following that can join us here as well? Which I like that question because I know some of the things that are kind of in the works in regards to personalities. So where are we at with that?
Yeah, so we've got a bunch of irons in the fire with a few different influencers. We actually had a pretty big NFT influencer who some of you guys probably saw. His name's Breads, and he came over, and actually we didn't pay him any influencer fee. He just was curious after talking to us, and he created a Hive account, and it's at Breads, BREADS, and then we helped him basically with one of his spaces. So Eric helped him get more people into the space, and we use Zeely as our laser beam to get people into that space. So you guys can kind of see the power of Zeely when because right now the whole Hive community and the whole Leo community, we all have kind of scattered focus. We're all doing things on a daily basis. We're all interacting on a daily basis. What Zeely lets us do is take all that attention and focus it on one thing. So we use Zeely to bring more people to his X space. And then we also did a threadcast for him just to kind of show him what it looked like. So Eric did a threadcast and then also put out the Zeely quest to get people into the X space. And Breads had a record turnout rate for his X space. He crossed over like the 200 mark. And I think the most he ever had was somewhere around 100. So, he was like taking screenshots of it, and it was awesome. And I was listening into, and it was a really engaged space. And then his threadcast got like 1,700 comments live. So that was a huge event. And then it prompted Breads, afterwards to actually go through the process of creating a Hive account through Leo. So that was kind of like our first initial like influencer hit. And then we've got a bunch of different, like I said, irons in the fire to get more influencers in who will basically follow the exact same protocol. We're looking for people who are really active on X spaces and who get like a decent audience turnout. Anywhere from 100 to 10,000 people in an X space would be considered, worthwhile for us to pursue. So just imagine that we get, 10 different influencers who average, 150, 250 people in their X spaces. And we teach them how to do threadcasts and run them in conjunction with their X spaces, just like we're doing right now. So that's also why we've moved the When Soon show to being an X space and a threadcast. So it's really like, and the cool thing too is that X spaces actually have a terrible chat system. If you try to chat during a space, it basically just makes a reply comment underneath a tweet or a post. So yeah, Nifty just posted about Breads. So I think Breads is doing another threadcast in X space tonight in a couple hours. So just imagine like 10 different influencers all kind of doing this at the same time, and everyone in their X space, they're going to be reading the main influencers are going to be reading comments from the threadcast, and then people will be like, well, what's a threadcast? And then they look at the space and there's a link to the Threadcast. So then they go to the Threadcast and then they're prompted to sign up with their X account through Leo Infra, and then they can comment in the Threadcast. And now we've created a new user just like that. So that, I think, in my opinion, out of all the marketing strategies, I think that is going to be number one for getting new users in.
It is a tried and true method, especially over the last, decade. The threads are just flying through.
I saw a question from Taskmaster. He posted it 3 times, so I'm going to answer it.
I'm betting it's the one I just saw as well. He
said, "What is the progress
face
on Leo Shorts?" So my goal was to have Leo Shorts out before Hive Fest. Obviously, that didn't happen. We ran into some issues integrating the 3Speak backend, but we're still working on it. So, I'm going to say sometime probably before the end of October. But yeah, it's not as easy to integrate, full video as you guys think. But hopefully this month. It is a priority, though. If you look at the Dev 100 list, it's at the top of the list. So in terms of new features being rolled out, that's probably going to be the first new feature that's rolled out. Between that and then the account claim protocol, because those are 2 kind of key features. Those are kind of like the 2 next things to come out, other than like bug fixes. So it's definitely a focus. It's not forgotten.
I mean, listen, we all know that Task wants to do shorts with his Terminator sunglasses on, and he can't wait to get started. So sadly, your answer from Cal is soon. I want to essentially circle back because you kind of talked about this earlier, but it's probably a point that needs to be touched on. I figure every week, because there's always going to be new people getting onboarded. So Crypto Geek asked, some people have approached me to ask why LeoFinance did not give them private keys when creating a new account using Leo Infra. Is this a bug or do they have to do something else? Well, as is going to become, I think, a theme, it is not a bug. And in theory, they do have to do something else. And they almost don't have to do something else because it's going to be, they're going to be prompted at some point, as Cal's explained. So Cal, do you want to do a quick roundup or review on that point again in regards to, when someone creates a Leo Infra account and essentially what happens with their keys and how they can access their keys?
Yeah, so I just gave you the long answer of that, a couple minutes ago, so you can jump back in the recording. So, the long story short is that this is a Hive Lite account. When they sign up, they don't need the keys. And that's the entire point of it, is that most people don't want to deal with keys. So actually, if you want to sign someone up and you know that they want to deal with the keys right off the bat, the first option says create a Hive account. So just click that option and then you get the keys. But if you use the sign up with X or sign up with Google, it's not going to prompt you to get keys right away. It'll prompt you to get keys later once there's some money in your wallet. So once your wallet crosses like a $5 threshold, then it's going to start, the UI will start to prompt you to download your keys and take full custody of that wallet. And the whole reason for that is because 99% of people do not want to deal with keys, especially off the bat. So our goal is to make them deal with the keys later. So at least get them hooked on the platform, get them using it, get people onboarded. And if you try the onboarding process, it takes less than 30 seconds. So get people onboarded in less than 30 seconds, get them to make a thread, get them to make a post, get them to make some comments, get them to earn a little bit of crypto, a couple bucks. And then they now have an incentive to keep their journey going and take full self-custody. And one thing we may do, I'm still kind of ruminating on this idea if I, think it's, morally correct or not. But we may at some point with the Lite accounts, if you get to say $50 or $100 in your Lite account, I view that as a security risk to not have full self-custody. I view, exchange accounts the same way. Like I said, with Coinbase, I wouldn't hold more than $1,000 on Coinbase. That's just the way, the way I think. I'm a long-term crypto person. That's, not your keys, not your crypto. So we may at some point make it so that if you pass $50 or $100 in your Hive Lite account, the UI will actually not let you make any more threads until you take full self-custody. It'll say, if you want to keep interacting, you need to download your keys. And it's for, I could see a lot of pushback from that, which is why it's not already implemented. But we haven't seen a light account get that high anyways. But if it ever were to happen and I see it becoming an issue and a risk, that's going to be something that I consider implementing, which is just to, basically for the user's own good to say, hey, we don't want you taking the risk of not having full self-custody.
Which makes sense. During that Bitcoin flood said, is there a way to get the keys before that time? That was a handful of seconds ago. So I'm not sure which time he was referring to. Maybe you know.
Sorry, read one more time.
He basically said, is there a way to get the keys before that time? But I don't know exactly what he was referring to because I was reading threads instead of listening.
There is, but the wallet claim protocol, like I said earlier, if you want to go back to the recording, is not live on the UI yet. It's currently in the alpha stage of the UI. So we're just going to do a couple more bug fixes and then it'll be live in the wallet. So yeah, if you want to claim it before the $5 prompts start to hit you, you can just go to the wallet page and then hit claim wallet and then you'll be able to claim it. But not yet, obviously.
Indeed. Is this still
Princess Busayo? Yeah, like I said, they don't have to reach the threshold before they claim the keys. They can claim the keys whenever they want. But once they reach the threshold, the UI is going to start to bug them to claim the keys because we don't want them to be like non-custodial Hive accounts. We want people offboarded ASAP.
Cool.
Like you said, we're already over 420 comments.
We are now at 438. All right, so okay, you just answered that with the $5 threshold question. Yep. Ivan or G3, process info using X as a method was simple, practical, and agile. Yep, that is the goal.
Yeah, Universe Soper Dito. Anyone can create an account with the Leo Info method. It is very simple. My parents who don't know much about technology were able to do it. Yeah. That's the goal, right? Like literally click a couple buttons and you're signed up and signed in, and you can start interacting. And then maybe once you earn some crypto and you have a little bit of a investment in the platform in terms of time and knowledge, then we want to prompt you to download the keys and take full self-custody and go through the paces. But asking people to go through, I think this has been the problem with onboarding, really not just for Hive, but for any Web3 platform, whether you look at MakerDAO or, any Hive platform or, Uniswap even, asking people to take full self-custody right off the bat, download your keys so that you can interact. That's too much to ask for a new user. So, we've taken that completely out of the equation, which is the whole point. And then move it to the back end and say, okay, now you're signed up, you're signed in, you've got a little investment in the platform in terms of time, and you care to keep interacting. So now take full self-custody.
Yeah, which I think is a good dynamic. And the reality is there's going to be accounts that probably one day have, more than that threshold that still won't download their keys because there's people that have, in reality, there's people that have hundreds of thousands of dollars in crypto sitting on Coinbase because at the end of the day, like that's just how they function. Like it's no different than, someone that works a day job and invests in the stock market and they just own a bunch of ETFs that are sitting in their Schwab account, right? So kind of the same thing. So but it's cool that there's going to be prompts for them to download their keys and whatnot, which I'm sure some will, but I'm sure many won't. I won't be surprised if 10 years from now, there's some Leo Info accounts with hefty amounts of Leo on Hive.
Yeah, and that's our mission statement, and there is a new vision plan or post, if you will, that's going to be released on the day we announce the rebrand. And I've been working on that for a couple of days. But the mission statement is basically the same thing it's always been, but it's a little reworded to be a little bit more broad. And I'll just read it off for you guys as a little teaser. So Blanks, not the rebrand name, mission is to build a sustainable creator economy that is centered around digital ownership, tokenization, and communities. So the key piece of that is digital ownership. So if a Leo Infra account, like you're saying, gets over that, $50 or $100 threshold, and we decide to kind of like rate limit their usage of the UI until they take full self custody, in my opinion, that is a fine thing to do, because the entire mission statement of what we're building here is digital ownership. So you can't have true digital ownership until you take full self custody of your account. So it falls perfectly in line with our mission to essentially force people to take full self custody. But like I keep reiterating, off the bat, there are very few people who want to take full self custody right when they get signed up into a new platform. You have to look at it not from the eyes of a hiver, but look at it from the eyes of someone who is looking at one of these UIs like Leo for the very first time. They see a new platform, they're like, oh, another Rumble or another new platform. And they could care less about the platform. They don't care about Leo. They don't care about the platform. They don't care about the people on the platform. They don't care about your usernames. They see the platform, they're like, oh, maybe this is cool. And the only way they're going to try it is to be very simple, quick sign up, and then start using it. And then, whoever we retain after a couple of weeks, once they start earning a little bit, then you worry about self custody and full digital ownership.
Yep. So speaking of that, I mean, can that be shortcutted by delegation? Like Ajax asked for the Leo Infra onboarded hivers to get their keys. Will there be an option for another hiver to delegate the $5 in hive to them? If someone delegated, would that cover it, or would they basically need to essentially be gifted that amount and actually, have it in their own account?
Yeah.
And
so
I mean, hive or hive power?
I think a couple people are caught up on this whole $5 thing. So
yes,
the $5 value can come from three different things.
I mean, I'm just
Leo in your wallet,
okay.
Hive in your wallet, HVD in your wallet. Whether or not any of those are staked or liquid, it doesn't matter. If you go to your wallet right now, you'll see that there's a dollar value there, and that dollar value is derived from those three things. So when you get delegated, though, that doesn't add to the dollar value because that's not yours. Someone delegated it to you. But it doesn't matter. I saw someone ask this too. You don't need to hit the $5 threshold. Nothing special happens with that $5 threshold other than the UI prompting you, hey, you need to download your keys. Please download your keys. Please download your keys. There's no magic here. It's just literally like you hit $5 and it says, please download your keys. That's it. If you want to download your keys before $5, you can. You just go to the wallet page and download them. I think people are kind of caught up on that.
Well, that is good to know.
Uyobong asked, what are the KPIs to measure the adoption of a rebranded Leo? So you can see we put out a post yesterday talking about the new signups and how we're tracking them. It's basically the same KPIs, but on the day of the rebrand, we'll be able to see, what were we looking at before the rebrand, what were we looking at after the rebrand. Eric is tracking all these metrics on a daily basis. He sends me a report all the time about how we're doing. So we have very good real-time data. So we'll be able to see, days before the rebrand, which are like these days, and then days after the rebrand.
Right on. The good old rebrand in the Sooniverse. Speaking of things that are in the Sooniverse that we can put in the NowAverse, I believe there's a keyword for today. For
what's the keyword?
The good old Zeely partakers. I believe the keyword is a very simple 4-letter word. Starts on an R, ends with a K, has an OC in the middle, and that would be rock. Not to be confused with
keyword
the
of the
rock.
day, people. Keyword of the day.
If you can smell what the rock is cooking, it's cooking up some new users on LeoFinance. If you can smell what a Nomad Soul is cooking, he's cooking up keywords for the Zeely campaign. And that keyword is rock. So you should, as the song goes, want to rock. We need theme music to go with the keywords. Although I'm pretty sure at this point, Task would probably be the only one that recognized that song had I played a sample.
So I see a couple questions kind of on similar lines. Alex Rourke said, I thought the rebrand was today. And Andersino said, what has the reaction been when you told people that Threads is open to any topic when the brand name was LeoFinance? I got some people that were skeptical when I told them about LeoFinance. So here's our big announcement for the day. Since you just announced a keyword, I'm going to announce something too. The rebrand is officially happening October 9th. We are officially rebranding. When you log into the UI on October 9th, you will see a brand new logo, possibly some other little Easter eggs. And we'll be doing a live broadcast. It's Monday, October 9th. So that is the rebrand date. From then forward, we shall not be known as LeoFinance. This shall not be the LeoFinance When Soon show. It will be the blank weekly When Soon show. The LeoFinance name and logo are not completely going away, though. If you go to the communities page after the rebrand, and I mean, even if you do it now, you'll see that there's a LeoFinance community, like it's a Hive community. You guys all know what those are. And that is not going anywhere. That will remain. And if you want to post crypto and finance related content, like we have been for the last 4 years, since July. Yeah, it's still planned to. Since July 3rd, 2019, you've been able to post crypto and finance content in this community, and you'll still be able to, even after the rebrand. That community is not going anywhere. But the essentially, and Task is going to appreciate this. I wrote a post a couple years ago talking about how LeoFinance is an umbrella company and it owns a bunch of other stuff beneath it. Essentially, we're just changing the name of that umbrella company, and we're moving LeoFinance beneath the umbrella company and basically moving it as just a community under the broader name of blank, which will be the overarching name of everything.
Well, I know that you have everything in the works, but I think Task makes a good point. He said it will be the Task show and the new UI will be task.com, but I was like, almost. I think we should call it Tasky. Tasky is catchy.
I actually kind of like that name.
Tasky.
If Taskmaster ever releases an app, you should call it Tasky.
Tasky. Did you task today? It sounds like work though, so I don't know how it would go over. People don't like working, especially these days.
Yeah.
Maybe if we turn it into fun.
The other thing about the rebrand, and I already am kind of anticipating certain questions. The Leo token name is not changing, so maybe you'll be able to predict that Leo is somehow still included in the name. We're obviously dropping the finance. The name is very general topic friendly, so it is going to be a lot more inviting to the average person who obviously might see something like LeoFinance and be a little intimidated. So the new name is very broad, and it also will not need it. With the new name, we won't need to change the Leo token name, and obviously nothing else changes in terms of the Leo tokenomics and all that. So essentially, like I just said, the only thing changing is that the name of the umbrella ecosystem is moving from LeoFinance to blank, and LeoFinance is it's remaining as a community underneath that umbrella. So basically the only thing changing on October 9th is the URL of the site. And obviously LeoFinance is going to redirect you to the new site. And then the logos on the site. Other than that, pretty much nothing else changes. And this is a good thing for marketing in general. So, basically the only things changing are related to marketing and then naming. Other than that, nothing changes. Lukiel said it's good to keep the Leo token name. It's comforting. Yeah, I agree. That was a big thing for me when we were coming up with names and trying to brainstorm is, I wasn't opposed to changing it, but I preferred not to change it. So I'm glad that we came up with something that we don't need to change. we went through a lot of different iterations of names. I don't remember how this one particularly came up. I think I came up with it on the flight to Hive Fest. I'm gonna have to go through my messages and see if I'm lying about that or not. I don't remember.
Speaking of Hive Fest, I saw a question earlier that said, out of the Leo team, who's the heaviest drinker at Hive Fest? And I was just like, you know, I'm not going to guess Cal, even though Cal drank me over under a table at Breathe. But I mean, I feel like Eric might be able to hold his weight, but I feel like Nifty might really be able to hold his liquor.
You without giving away too much, I went out every single, because I was making the most of my Hive Fest, and I don't take a lot of vacations either. So all day long we had the Hive Fest activities. And then after about like 9-10 p.m., kind of everyone would like break off. I managed to find some cool people to hang out with. Shout out to Oz, if any of you guys know him. We went out pretty much every night. I think I ran him out after like 3 days in a row, two or 3 days in a row of drinking. But we went out every night. I went out until pretty much like 6 a.m. every night during Hive Fest. Slept like 2 hours, did it all, ran it all back. It was super fun. So one night me and Nifty did karaoke. So that was a good time. I posted, if you go to my blog page, I posted a bunch of pictures from Hive Fest the other day, like 2 or 3 days ago. But you can see me and Nifty singing karaoke. So that was one of the nights. And then one of the nights we played poker. Actually, that was my last night there. We played poker, and then me and Nifty were taking shots. I think there were like 15 people or so in the poker penthouse, and we drank like 6 bottles of tequila or something. We were just ripping shots. So it was a lot. And that was the last night.
The Hive Fest party was on.
It was on like Donkey Kong.
Glad I did not go, because I would have ended up in a Mexican hospital.
Yeah, Nifty said legendary karaoke night. It was really fun.
I am sad I missed karaoke night, because I do like me some drunken karaoke. And back in the day, I had a crew of friends where we would go literally once a week. We went for like a good like 2-3 year run, and I was probably in my late 20s when that was happening. Boozing on a weeknight, singing karaoke. That would not happen these days. Next work day would be useless.
You know, I saw someone say Dara said, I really need to go to Hive Fest. I can't recommend it enough. We had so much fun. This was actually my first Hive Fest, because like I said, I don't travel a whole lot. So, I never really wanted to make it out, especially to Europe, to go to Hive Fest. So, being that it was in Mexico, it was a pretty quick flight for me. And I actually decided very last minute, but like we were on the AMA, and I was still kind of like,
surprised you went. Like, yeah, we had just gotten back from Vegas, and it was like we got back from Vegas, and then 3 days later you have to go to Hive Fest, and yeah, on the AMA, literally 2 weeks ago, you were just like, man, I don't know, and I was like, make it happen, bro. Fly to San Diego, drive over the border. I'm glad you didn't end up hitting me up to see if I would go with you, because I was in bad shape, because I stayed in Vegas a few more days, and I ended up actually, ironically, I wasn't even getting sick. It was allergies, because my buddy I was crashing with, he's got a dog, and I got allergies, and I came back all jacked up, and it took me a good like 4 or 5 days before I got right. So I would have flew out to Hive Fest all jacked up. Yeah, I destroyed myself one night in Vegas. That's all the cat can handle these days. One trick pony. The glory days are behind me.
Yeah, it was rough. I was still feeling Vegas when I went to Hive Fest. That's how rough it was. Damn. So for me, it was just like a 1.5 week bender, but it was fun. It was a good time.
You got to blow off steam, at least once a year. Otherwise you go crazy.
Right. Yeah, true. Yeah. I mean, I needed the vacation. I came back from Hive Fest feeling very refreshed. So, I've been working hard lately, just feeling just good, refreshed.
Nice,
So.
nice. Yeah, especially before, big things coming up with the rebrand and everything else. So shall be interesting.
Yep.
And yeah, the only other big question is when bull market, which hopefully is in fact, so I went to this random networking event locally. It was like Lake Worth Beach. One of my buddies invited it to me. It was all like day traders, tech people, crypto guys, and I met this one team that is basically doing like, when I say they're doing Bitcoin mining, I'm talking like they have like container ships, on substantial amount of land, just doing their thing. And these guys are just positive that the bull market is coming next, the next halving, and that it's going to be, muted compared to the last one, and that each halving, you're going to see more of a muted bull market. But I was like, I hope you're right, because I like April is even a long enough wait. I mean, everyone's waiting for the bull market. So we shall see. Anderson Ho said, can't wait until we have LeoFest. Agreed, sir. We need LeoFest. LeoFest Miami. Miami
It probably will be in Miami, or it'll be either Miami or Chicago. We'll see.
Home base.
Yeah,
Well,
but I am planning something. So.
I'm gonna get in a Nomad Soul ear and make it easy for him, because there is plenty of direct flights from Mexico to Miami, because I know this due to all my friends and hell, even my brother flying to well, you can't fly directly to Tulum so much yet, but flying to, what is that? I think Cancun.
Yeah.
But, and then even Mexico City. Yeah. Like this, Miami's got so many direct flights to international cities. That's one thing I like about that airport.
Yeah. I mean, Chicago's got it too, but
Oh,
yeah. I mean, there's definitely a vibe to Miami, especially just crypto wise. The reason why it would be Chicago is just because I have enough connections here that, I'd be able to get everyone's hotels really cheap. I'd be able to get the venue really cheap.
Makes sense.
Just in terms of knowing people around here. But yeah, other than that, it would be in Miami for the sake of, Miami's the crypto hub now.
So,
and I also do love Miami, by the way.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Well, and also you can do it any time of the year in Miami, because if we're doing it in Chicago, LeoFest July 2024, because Cat ain't coming to Chicago in the winter.
Yeah, nobody's gonna want to come here in the winter, that's for sure.
So if we're gonna aim for a LeoFest next summer, then Chicago is in play. But if it's gonna be later in the year, don't expect to see a cat.
Yeah, I think if anything, we'll probably be looking at like March-ish would be kind of like where I would want to do LeoFest.
Gotcha.
Which also might align well if people are right about the halving and the new bull market. But yeah, I'm looking into some stuff. I may have some announcements at some point.
I think you've been overruled by Taskmaster. He said we need LeoFest in Florida. Task has spoken.
He won't even come, even if it's in Miami. It could be 10 minutes from his house. He won't even come.
I know, like, I don't know where Task is located in Florida, but I know he's definitely not 10 minutes from Miami. Like, every ounce of me feels like he's in the northern half of Florida. I see him being in more the conservative, Republican-ish section of Florida, which is definitely not Miami. I like John Tim's sneaky way of trying to get you to slip and give up the new brand name, because he said when the rebrand happens, what tag will be used on posts? Still LeoFinance or something else?
Oh, that's easy. Yeah, you'll just tag it blank.
Yes, it'll be the new, whatever the new name is. New names.
Some people are saying, or Mr. Killy said, when LeoFest or Blankfest, it will actually still be called LeoFest. So that should also give you a pretty good hint on the name, that we can still call it LeoFest.
Interesting.
Yeah, kind of narrowing down the name here, but I bet nobody will guess it.
That's thrown me a little bit, but also then didn't throw me now that I really think about it. based on what I may or may not have squeezed out of Cal at the Breathe conference. Unfortunately, it benefits me in no way. How do I make
Yeah, I
money
mean,
off
I shared like the top name that we had at the time at the Breathe conference with Mitch, and he was said, "No way, sucks." And that's the general consensus I got, which I was like, all right, well, if even the cat doesn't like it, we can't do it. So then I brainstormed for the next week and then came up with something better.
Oh, so it is something different. Nice. I mean,
It's something
it's
something I didn't even have in my mind at Breathe. I think I might be wrong. I don't want to be wrong, but I'm 90% sure I came up with it on the flight to HiveFest.
Well, I'm just going to take credit for pushing you over the edge and coming up with a better name. I will send my consulting invoice to you.
Go ahead.
I am happy to be paid in Leo or Hive, although fiat is also welcomed.
Did you hear? Me and Eric dropped you a nice and Krim on during the fireside chat after my presentation at HiveFest. Me and Eric gave like a 45-minute interview with Krim, and she asked us for like closing words, and we both said, "Vote the cat." You gotta watch it.
See that.
That's
epic.
Watch it. And then Krim said, "Vote the cat, vote the cat."
Yes, that would be me, people. Scaredy Cat Guide. That's
it
epic.
Was funny. It was
man.
Funny.
Had I known that, I would have just started plowing content out the next 48 hours.
You should have.
I was probably radio. I think I was radio silent for. I didn't post much like last week or so. I have been threading more, but I've been blogging less. This might have been answered. I'm not sure. Earlier, Task asked, and Anderson was also curious. Where is the Dev 100 list?
It is currently on my left, one of my left screens.
It's like I still haven't posted song.
It. Yeah,
to the left. All your Dev 100 list is on my monitor to the left.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we've been crushing this list. So I've been like, I've written like 2 different posts 2 different times, and I was going to put out the list. And then by the time I was ready to put out the post, the list had already changed too much. So then I was like, all right, well, I'll wait till the next time. And that just keeps happening. So soon, I'll put it out soon. Maybe I'll put it out because now it's a brand new month. So I just refreshed the whole list today. So probably soon. Let's target this week in the Sooniverse and try to put it out. Lots of updates though. If you guys have been using Labs, by the way, good time to plug some updates on Labs. There's been, what do we got? So we've got rethreading. The button's not activated yet, but you can rethread. I'll let you guys find the little Easter egg on how to do it. So you can rethread. On mobile, we updated the menus so that if you hit the 3 dots and you're on mobile, you'll see that the menu looks different than it does on desktop. It looks really clean. So falling in line with some of the mobile updates we're working on. And then we also pushed a ton of bug fixes. So I was doing this last night because I just wanted to see, how big of a difference it made. But if you look at a post on, like, if you can put it on the left of your screen and then another post on the right of your screen, or the same post, but on Labs and on LeoFinance.io, you can see the big difference in the text formatting. So we fixed a ton of bugs there, pushed a bunch of backend fixes. Leo Cache got a huge speed update that's on Labs, but not on production. So if you use Labs, you'll notice it's a lot faster than production is. So a bunch of updates got pushed to Labs recently, just kind of over the weekend. And we are planning to push those by Friday of this week. That's our new schedule. Push everything to Labs every single day. Basically, every single day, Labs is going to get some new feature or bug fix every single day. And then every Friday, we're going to take everything that was pushed and we're going to push it to the production UI. So kind of a key thing here. And I've actually been considering hiring, 2 to 3 people full time to do product testing and bug testing, because we don't get enough feedback on Labs. So if you guys are using the UI, I highly recommend, if you're willing and have the patience, use Labs and you get the latest features. And then if you find any bugs, post a thread, use hashtag feedback in it so I can see it, and give us feedback on the new features and any bugs that you find. because all that bug testing is what leads us into Friday, where we can release it to production. And the more bug testing we get, the more stable the production UI is every Friday. So yeah, nifty. There was also an update to the For You algorithm. So the For You, that was kind of like the huge update actually, which I skipped over on Labs. So if you haven't used Labs in the last week, if you go to it now, there's the For You algorithm in place. So that looks like X. If you go to it, it doesn't rank order threads by time anymore. It's randomized by relevance. So it's trying to find relevant content for you, hence the name. And it's showing you that content in rank order of how relevant it feels like it is to you. So it's pulling all the data from on-chain. So one thing I love about it is, with Web 2, and again, this falls in line with our mission statement. With Web 2, Web 2 platforms are scraping all your data. They're tracking your activity across multiple apps. They're tracking potentially your microphone and your camera and looking for any means that they can get to collect data on you. That's what they're doing. And then they're using all that data to create the For You feed. So like, if you ever use TikTok, it's actually kind of scary how like you can have a conversation with someone about, Tesla, and then suddenly you open TikTok like an hour later and it's all shit about Tesla in your For You feed. So it's kind of scary actually.
It's as scary as Facebook doing that.
Yeah. Facebook
search,
does it
like,
too.
dude, I'll search. What's crazy is you search something on Google, like on my desktop, I'll search something on Google, and then I'll be on my phone like an hour later on Facebook, and I'm getting nothing but ads for what I searched for. I'm like, that is creepy.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And that's because these Web 2 platforms are just collecting as much data as they can, and then they're creating those For You feeds based on all that data. So one thing I wanted to do is I wanted to, obviously for Leo to be different. So we're collecting all the data from on-chain. So this is all publicly accessible data anyways, all straight from the Hive blockchain. So we're taking data from the Hive blockchain and then using it to create your For You feed. And at LeoFinance put up a post about 5 or 6 days ago, like literally we just gave out the whole algorithm. Obviously we didn't give out the weightings and stuff yet, because those are all being tweaked anyways. But essentially we're just pulling, like follower data, we're pulling, tag data, we're looking at who you reply to frequently, and then you're going to start to see those particular people in your For You feed more often. We're looking at trending tags and, how often certain threads are trending from certain authors in certain hashtags, and then we're showing them there. All sorts of cool stuff. We're looking at voting patterns. And then one of the big ones that I really like is we're looking at view counters. So we're using the Simple Analytics API that gives you the Leo Ads view counter. We're using that same API to create a view metric that will also put stuff in the For You feed. So all these different metrics are combined to basically just give you better content in the For You feed. The whole idea is you can just go to the For You feed at any time. And when you scroll through it, you're just finding very relevant, high quality threads that you can interact with. If you want to use the old feeds, just like how it used to be, just click latest at the top, and then you'll see feeds just the way it used to be, that are just time sorted. And then obviously you still have trending and following as well. And once we perfect this algorithm for You, and I think it's always going to be kind of an ongoing battle, but once we get it to like a really good place, we're going to be moving that For You feed also to the articles page, which is going to be like really huge. If you've been a Hiver for a long time, finding good content has always been kind of a pain in the ass. The best way to do it, in my opinion, has always been to look at either the trending or your following feed to kind of find decent content without having to look through a bunch of other stuff. So we're going to release that for articles as well. Well, you'll be able to you'll find relevant articles that you want to read based on data we scrape from the Hive blockchain about your account. So I'm really excited about it. I've been using it a lot and tweaking it a lot. We're basically tweaking it every couple of hours. So if you look at the For You right now and you come back like 8 hours from now, it's probably going to look a lot different, just in terms of the type of content you're seeing. So yeah, that's the lowdown on For You. It's hopefully going to get pushed to production on Friday, but I want to make sure that it works really well before we get it to production, because it's obviously going to be replacing the main feed. So when you go to the homepage of Leo, you're going to see For You. I want the feed to look really good, before that gets moved to production.
Rock and roll. Keyword being rock. Someone asked the YouTube channel. I responded to that and dropped it. Just go to the YouTube video that's streaming now and then hit the subscribe button underneath the video box. Yeah, it's good. Someone mentioned that everyone should go subscribe to the Cal channel on YouTube.
Yeah, I see iJats asked a good question. Regarding the algorithm, wouldn't it be better to partly push in our visible threads, the ones coming from hivers we don't usually interact with, so that we'll have more probability to discover their content? Yeah, so that's a good point. So I actually put up a tweet or a post on X, I think it was yesterday, where I showed that I was in my For You feed and I actually got a brand new sign up in my For You feed. So it does also mix in content from brand new account signups. And then it's looking at the people. This is another aspect of the algorithm that I didn't really cover. It's scraping data about the people that you follow who are interacting with content. So for example, iJats, like if you're following Taskmaster and Taskmaster tends to interact with Scaredy Cat Guide on threads, suddenly you're going to start seeing a lot of Scaredy Cat Guide threads in your feed, even if you've never interacted with Scaredy Cat Guide and you're not following him, you've never upvoted him, you've never replied to him.
Which
suddenly
is
you're going to
great.
start seeing him. Yeah.
Now they can start upvoting the cat.
Right. And we have a special metric right at the line of, there's a line item there that says, put in 10 threads from the cat every single day. So you've got that too. But yeah, there's always the way the algorithm works is it's not just looking at your account, it's looking at who you're interacting with and who they're interacting with. So it's kind of like this commingling of a lot of different data, which will ultimately bring in like content that you would have otherwise probably never found.
Which is cool. Speaking of things I can't find, this has been an issue for me for like a week now. So live bug fixes, and I'm not on oh my God, I just forgot the name. I'm not on the labs version. I'm on regular LeoFinance. I can't put emojis in my threads. I go to emojis, I click on the emoji, nothing happens. I can do GIFs, no problem. But yeah.
What exactly happens? Like, does the menu not look correct?
No. So like if I click on the little smiley face, the menu pops up and I'll see whatever smileys pop up. I'll click on one and then I click on it. The menu goes away as it should, but then the emoji does not pop up in my thread.
Can you try it in labs?
I could try it in labs, but just an FYI. But yeah,
interesting.
Could just be a me thing, or it could be just old LeoFinance. Because I was trying to put a laughy face after the thread I was about to post that said the keyword should be vote the cat. But yes, I certainly can try in the labbies.
Good to know. I made a note of it because I was able to reproduce it on production, but not on labs. So possible that we already fixed it, but I still made a note for it.
Gotcha.
Just in case.
So it's good on labs.
Should be, yeah.
Well, so that leads to the question of when the rebrand launches on October 9th, is that when labs officially is going to become production or no?
So, I think they're saying they can't. Oh, I think you dropped out of the X
Spaces,
which, yeah,
dude. Why does that it kicks me out every time? Is there like a
someone was like, is Cal talking to himself? So labs, labs is a newer release from us. The idea, and I kind of touched on it a little bit, is that every week, so every day, basically, our devs are always pushing bug fixes and new features. So the idea is on labs, we're going to be continuing to do that. So every day, whenever the devs have something, they'll basically just push it. Add a speaker. So they'll just push the updates as soon as they have them. So from there, though, every Friday, we'll take what's on labs and move it to production. And the whole reason behind that is then we get basically like a whole week of testing on the new features on labs, and before they get pushed to production, we find all the major bugs so that they get fixed, so that people on production, the average user has a very refined and stable version of the UI. Labs will always be kind of a more unstable but also bleeding edge version of the UI, where you can do stuff on labs that you can't do on production, because it obviously just has all the newest features.
Okay.
So that's the whole idea. So labs will always exist from this point.
So labs
forward.
is basically a live beta test.
Literally, yeah. So labs is meant to be live, because we've always been live beta, and I love being live beta. And obviously you have issues and stuff like that, but if we want to reach the masses, we can't always just be all like in this live beta form at all times. The average user doesn't want to deal with bugs. So we need to have a stable version of the UI, and that's going to be LeoFinance.io or blank.io when we get the rebrand.
Yeah.
So labs will always be that unstable version.
Yeah, and as long as you have, a handful of essentially beta testers, which are people like Task who, are doing that thing on labs and putting huge questions in like paragraph 1 size. How do you rethread on labs?
So there's a button. If you click the 3 dots, it says rethread, but it's currently disabled because we're doing kind of more back end testing of it. But if you want to manually test a rethread, all you have to do is copy the link of another thread and then make a thread and use the link in that thread. But the button for rethreading will be live probably in the next 24 hours on labs.
He doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells. Sorry. Movie reference that probably Task might know. Classic Stallone movie.
I do like Sylvester Stallone though. Will the rebrand happen on labs first? No. So labs and production will get rebranded at the same time.
Makes sense. And Demolition Man is the movie I was referencing. Good old Wesley Snipes, Stallone, back in the heyday.
I like them in Expendables. I love those movies. Loved them growing up too.
But yeah, they're old men in those movies.
I haven't seen many of the ones where they're not.
They were in their prime in Demolition Man. That movie's 20 to 25 years old.
I'm gonna have to check it out. Another movie I've been wanting to watch is Rambo. I've never seen it.
Nice. I never really was like, I've seen them, but I was never really into the Rambo movies, all the Stallone movies. Rambo movies just never really. But I liked a lot of the other ones.
Never seen Rocky either. I need to watch that. Yeah, I need to watch that.
The Rocky series are good. I mean, when you watch Rocky 1 now, like it looks old, it feels old. Not so much like when you watch Rocky 4, even though that is, quite a bit old too now, but it's just still more, looks more modern, everything, the production. The first 3, have that more 80s feel to it.
Gotcha.
But yeah. Yep. Why is a cat silent? I miss his voice. Well, I'm glad you missed my voice because I personally am not really a fan of my voice. I don't know why. Yeah. Every time at some point, it's like I time out of spaces. I mean, come on, Elon. I own your stock and I trade options on your stock, like on the bull side. I'm showing Tesla love. Why am I getting hated on here? But I'm back.
Android things.
Don't blame it on the droid.
It's not the droid you were looking for. What else?
Cat is right. It doesn't work on desktop. It just goes away. All right. And then also Task said he tried the emojis in labs and it didn't work for him either.
So interesting because it works fine for me, but
Bitcoin flood with a great Blade GIF thread.
I saw Task to say Chicago is a shithole.
Well, I mean, it depends where you go in Chicago. There's certain sides you're probably better off staying out
certain
of.
Places. Certain places I wouldn't go. But
I mean,
in general, I mean, I went to New York somewhat recently and I was not impressed.
New York,
I had been there when I was a kid. Yeah, New York is a total shithole.
New York sucks.
I was
now.
like, Yeah, I was like, damn, people like New York better than Chicago.
No,
They've
New
never been
York's
to the right places.
Talks now. I mean, obviously, I grew up in New York. I've been to New York, over the last 40 something years. So I've seen it in all different states. And right now is one of my least favorite. And yeah, like my girl like wanted to go to New York when we were up there for my friend's wedding. And I'm just like, I really don't want to go into the city. I'm like, it just sucks. Yeah, it fell off hard. But so did San Francisco and some other cities. But we're not going to get into my theories on why, because we're here to talk about crypto, not politics.
Yep. Yeah, the thing that got me about New York was the whole trash in the front, like trash just everywhere. It was like mind blowing to me because, in Chicago, you never see trash. It's always, in the alleys and hidden away. But in New York, it's just all out on the street.
Interesting. So apparently I kicked off the bug test string here because Crypto Geek said, did you notice that when clicking and expanding a thread, we lose the options button that contains the copy link, downvote, rethread, and tweet buttons? And he posted a little example.
Wait, when clicking and expanding a thread, we lose the option button. Wow.
You see it? It's a few seconds ago he posted it.
That is a fantastic point. I actually never noticed that.
Boom. You've just been bug tested.
Live feedback. All right, I'm saving it.
That's a great way to start wrapping up this call because we've been going over an hour and the cat needs catnip and has other calls creeping up.
Catnip could be taken in a lot of different ways.
This is true, but to me, catnip is food. All right, the cat needs his kibbles and bits. For those that even remember that brand.
iJet's last question. We'll fit this last question in. It's about Hive Light accounts. It's kind of the theme of today's episode. If we use the onboarding mechanism for Hive Light accounts, which personal data, IP, username on Hive, etc., does X and Google keep on their servers about us? Asking to know if on the privacy side, better to create an account the traditional way. I mean, if you want to have the most privacy and have the most control, have the most self-custody, always I would recommend having a full Hive account. Use the create a Hive account option on Leo. And you'll download your keys, and it's just like any other Hive onboarding mechanism. But if you want to have the simplified Leo Infra Light account experience, X and Google actually don't keep anything about your Hive account on their servers. We keep the information about your Hive username on our servers. All we use X and Google for is authenticating it. So they basically don't see anything about what we're doing with the authentication. They're just, and when you use the Light account sign up protocol, you'll notice that you're authorizing Leo to access your username on X and Google. And that's really all we ask for access to, because then we're tying that username to the Hive username that we create for you. So X and Google actually don't really get any information about you, but we are getting your X and Google account when you authenticate. So that's the difference.
I'm sorry. I'm so distracted by non-LeoFinance things. Task posted Rocky 1 equals Stallone pre-roids. And you know what? If you look at him in Rocky 1 compared to all the others, he's probably not wrong. Like he kind of looks like skinny in Rocky 1. And then he's like, I'm not even the Rocky 2 is still like the old school. It's come Rocky 3 when he got juiced when he fought Mr. T. And then Rocky 4, I mean, him and Dolph Lundgren were both juiced. Hey,
Stallone on steroids is always better.
Addicted. I do think it is an excellent rat burger. Addicted with props for dropping a line from Demolition Man. I digress. Sorry. This turned into popular culture show.
Oh, good. Looks like we just hit 700 threads in the
Boom.
threadcast.
Well, sad we didn't get to 1,000, but we're not holding on to get to 1,000. We were off to a fast start. We had 300 in like the first 15 minutes. So clearly things slowed down. People's fingers started to get tired. You need the spirit fingers. But no doubt. Well,
Sweet.
Next Tuesday is the 10th, and it will be the first day after the rebrand. So we shall see.
Will be.
That should be an interesting AMA.
Special rebrand episode on Monday, and then normal AMA on Tuesday.
Monday, what time?
10 TBD, Sooniverse time. I'll shoot you a DM.
Hey man, I'm just trying to help your cause here.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a message because I haven't really decided yet, but likely around our normal time, normal place, noon Eastern.
Hopefully I'll be
most
around
likely.
for it. That's why I was asking.
Yeah,
I
I'm
tried
gonna
to
have to
make
hit
it
you
like-
up and see if you're available.
Oh, we'll see. Yeah, potentially. I will be around. Like I'm going to be out of town, but I'm getting back Sunday night. So I will be around, but I do have a couple of appointments on Monday. So hopefully it will be in between.
All right, we shall see
Cool.
then.
If not, I will be here for the AMA and we'll catch you and Eric on the replay.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks everybody, and as always, upvote the cat.
Ha! That's right. I should make a post. I can't really do a recap post anymore. It's kind of impossible in this new setup.
Just pull. I was actually thinking about this. If you want to do a recap post, go to the Threadcast after we jump off air and just pull some of the best questions out of there. Take a screenshot and then write, because you probably remember the things we talked about. Just write a little description and then, boom.
Yeah. Nah, I think a couple weeks ago I was screenshotting like the good questions so I wouldn't forget them and I just had them. But yeah, it is a good idea indeed.
Yep.
We'll throw something together this afternoon.
Sounds good. Vote the cat.
Cool.
We'll see you guys next Monday.
Invite your friends onto LeoFinance and have your peeps vote the DHF.
Do it. We're almost there. We're at 98% now. I saw we jumped a lot during the show.
Do it now. Get in the chopper.
I do get that one.
Yes. Probably because they referenced it as a joke in later movies like Expendables.
In the Expendables, they did.
Which Expendables 4 came out last weekend. I wanted to see it, but
it's already out. I want to see it.
Yeah, it came out last weekend. I'll probably wait until it's on regular TV because I like those movies, but I don't know if they're worth going to the movies for.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But no doubt. All right, everyone, have a good week, and we will see you when we have a completely new name.
Very true. Peace out.
Deuces.